Welcome to the Triple Takeover Toycast, a fortnightly podcast all about Transformers and occasionally other toy lines as well. Although tonight very much is about Transformers because it's all about kind of one of the most significant things happening at the moment. There's actually a lot that's significant that's happening at the moment, as there always seems to be, but it's about Transformers 1. With me as ever are my fabulous co-hosts. So first of all, we've got Liam from Toybox Soapbox. How you doing?
What ho?
What ho indeed. Never disappoint with that. Regular as clockwork, aren't you?
Stick with the classics.
Yeah. Oh, really? Okay. Yeah. Not like last episode, though, was it? We had Star Trek puns and all kinds going on.
I know he's going for it.
I don't know where the impulse for that came from.
Oh, don't start again. Why did I do it?
Why did I volunteer the door open?
You need to learn to live long and prosper. Sixo.
He was enabled earlier by Doug on the Discord. That's what it was.
Yeah, that was. He got encouraged. That's the problem.
Exactly.
You encourage Liam, and it doesn't take a lot, honestly.
Exactly.
Jason, make it up for us. We've got Jason from JSwags. How you doing?
Hello there, gents. Yeah, really good. Yeah, good. Very good. Good to see you both. What people don't realise as well is that whenever Liam does his what ho, there's a cheeky grin that follows it as well.
Yeah,
you don't even miss out on.
It's a happy moment.
Honestly, you with your what hoes, and I was thinking the other day actually that it's funny between the two of you because we've got Jason adding R's in the middle of everything like Siacons, and we got Liam frantically adding O's in the middle of MP1 and things like this. So between you got O's and R's going on.
I didn't add that. That's
we're all with the vowels.
Branded content. It's not me.
Is it? It's funny, it doesn't seem to be on my box. Maybe it was a regional variant.
Because the Hasbro releases, they're on there.
I'll give you that. When we're talking about the Hasbro line, that's fair enough.
Alternate facts.
Exactly. Yeah, very much
Showing
so.
the knowledge. Back to the quiz. That's what it is.
Yeah.
So, are you guys up for talking about Transformers 1?
Very much
Yeah.
so. Yes.
Watch the trailer?
Multiple times. I think I'm on my 6th watch today. Is it? No, maybe more. Maybe 8, actually. I've watched it loads. I even put in a little edit on Twitter for everyone to enjoy. Yeah. Just of one of my favourite bits. I'm gonna come out right now. I absolutely enjoyed it to the max. Love it. Yeah, so very excited about talking about this.
That was universal, wasn't it? That reaction. I think absolutely everyone enjoyed it. No one said anything otherwise.
Yeah,
don't think there was any dissent.
Is that who makes it universal?
Yeah, maybe.
I think so.
No, it wasn't.
Why would anyone throw their toys out of a pram about, a cartoon about
Transformers
transforming
toys that they're chucking out?
Yeah, exactly. Because they don't want to break them because they're very fragile. That's why.
Yeah, don't throw your toys. Definitely. Yeah, I think there was a few quibbles that I may have seen online. A few people less than impressed with the trailer. Fair to say, but generally, I think it was pretty positive.
Yeah, I think for me, the overall the majority of people that were replying and engaging with the tweet that I put out, it was all really positive, and interestingly, a really wide demographic from what I could tell as well. So there was fans from all different eras of Transformers.
Yeah,
which was I found really interesting as well. So it was cool.
I think that is interesting because also I think some of the, let's acknowledge it, some of the negative reaction, which maybe let's come on to in a bit because I don't want to start off with what was the negatives.
Yeah.
But I do think some of the negative was from across the spectrum as well. I think it wasn't just like I've seen it where people are like, oh, the old school G1 fans don't like it, and it's like, no, I don't think it was that because I think there were a lot of old school fans that loved it and some that didn't. But I think actually every part of the fandom had some that liked it and didn't like it, but for different reasons. So
totally. Yeah.
I kind of want to maybe just poke at that slightly. Do you know what I mean? Not to be too controversial.
Yeah, no, I think. Yeah.
It's always funny though when we get something new like this, and it was like Earthspark, and every successive series is where you see the groups of people, different fandoms or different eras of Transformers band together with the same complaint that one group had about the previous group, and that group had against the previous group. It's like, oh god, it's something different, guys. Move on until it moves on from their thing.
Yeah,
and it's like, why is it different to my thing? Because it was funny seeing the amount of Bayformers people who come out of the woodwork when Bumblebee came out, and then again Rise of the Beast, and again with this. And you're like, when the movie came out, they were like, oh, G1ers. They have become that which they once hated the most.
We were talking about this with Menestreaker on our Discord the other day, weren't we?
Yeah.
One of our patrons who's helping us out with a bit of a special project, which will be live actually by the time this goes live. So with Short Circuits,
special missions.
I was about to say a special and be all coy, but actually it's live now. By the time this goes live, it will be live. So we're doing a YouTube series called Short Circuits, which is pretty exciting. And Menestreaker, one of our patrons, is helping with the
absolute
editing
hero,
on that.
doing a great job.
Legend.
Very much so. very much so.
But more importantly, like and subscribe. Go and watch it as well. But listen to this first as well.
Such a pro, Jason, honestly.
I know. It's like that, like and subscribe. That's
carry on what you're doing and then go and do this other thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Just do all the Triple Takeover things.
Press all the buttons. But yeah, we're talking with him about it because he's, I think, a little bit younger than us. I think it's fair to say.
Yeah.
Which he sometimes refers to, but hey-ho. But yeah, it was interesting because saying to him, it was like exactly what you just said, Liam, kind of go, because he kind of grew up with Bayformers and sort of saying it's weird how actually this kind of is almost a bit cyclical, that like the franchise moves on. And as you said, the people that are new or current into the current thing sort of almost complain about the older fans not letting go of stuff, but then it happens to them as well. I've seen it so many times now.
But it's the same in every fandom and every walk of life. It's basically what old people do to younger people. Every time somebody
exactly
in every era of time, it's not like it was in my day. That's basically what Transformers do. It's not the same as it was in my day. And it's like when you're a kid and like your parents or someone is like complaining about something that the kids like now, and like I wouldn't have done this in my time, or it's not like this other thing.
Totally.
Oh, they've brought back Thunderbirds. It's not the same, is it? They've brought back this, and it's just fandoms of people that people sort of forget that when they get into a lot of this stuff, they're kids, and so they're endeared to it. And so when they grow up and other kids get into other stuff, they're like, oh, it's not the same, and it doesn't spark the same feeling in them. But
exactly that.
They're not kids anymore.
Yep, that's it.
I think that's literally it.
Although, and that's one of the things, because a few comments I got were like they did cite the age that this movie was kind of aimed at, as in kids, and kind of use that as a way to not ridicule it, but just like bring it down. And I didn't feel that. I was just like, no, you can make, in my opinion, you can make really good movies, really good programs that entertain both adults and kids equally. And for me, I'm hopeful that that's what this will do.
I think so. I think there's more. I was going to say there's more to this trailer than meets the eye. I was genuinely going to say that, completely unironically, with a without even a smile on my face. But I do think there is. I think there's a lot in the trailer that, I mean, what is it? 2-3 minutes? The trailer, quite a long first trailer actually. It could have been just a 1-minute teaser or something. But there's quite a lot in there. But I think there's also a lot held back, and I think some of that is going to be the conflict, between Megatron D16 and Orion Pax. That I think there's going to be elements that we haven't seen yet that inevitably are part of this story, and I think that they're not all going to be like this. I've seen a few jokes about like the kind of Marvel humor, or like it being a bit like Super Mario Brothers or something like that, or like Pixar.
I thought watching it's exactly like the Mario Brothers trailer.
Yeah, it is.
Not trailer, but film. But that's what all films are like now.
They are. They follow the same formula. Yeah.
My first thought when I watched the trailer was, and I didn't mean this in a bad way, was I've seen this before. Yeah. And it's not that I've seen the trailer. It's that same trailer. It's Shrek, Kung Fu Panda, and other things. And that's not a criticism. That's just what the kids' films are like of this time. Yeah.
Yep.
It's the same thing where there's a pop song or a famous song being played to a lot of jokes and jakes. And it's the same kind of jokes. And some of them were funny. But I was watching it like, I feel like I've seen this before, but it's not for me. It's for kids who will have never seen this or are into this kind of thing,
Well, exactly that. And I guess we're really getting into it straight away, aren't we? Wow.
Yeah, let's just crack on.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's put the fandom to rights.
We've got business, we've got housekeeping to do. We've got to come back. I can do that in a second. But yeah, I think only in the same way that in my mind, I totally agree with you. But I think that is also an era thing as well. Because I think that is the same in the 90s. I think that was the same in the 80s. I think it was the same in the 2000s. It's kids' films, whatever it is. Everything has trends, doesn't it? So like you look at Transformers, the movie, the original, the 86 one. There was also the G.I. Joe movie, which was very similar. There was and that was obviously made by similar people.
There had been animated movies. It wasn't a groundbreaking, transformative, pardon the pun, experience, was it? For it's a great cartoon film for people who have Transformers, which is us. And it's the same with these films. It's not every movie that's going to come out is going to be this kind of unique, one-off,
groundbreaking,
earth-shattering movie. It's like the reason we all feel like we've seen these things before is because we have, but kids haven't. And, it kind of goes on. Like when we were kids and people, like Batman came out, everyone's like, this is brand new, this is different. And you're like, well, then you had Superman in like the late 70s, which was brand new and different for comic book films. And you have just things, different time, different periods.
Yeah, exactly. I completely agree, honestly. And I think the trailer looked pretty good, actually, for what it is. It's the kind of thing where if it doesn't appeal to a 40 to 50-year-old man, but it does appeal to my 6-year-old boy. I think they're going the right way with it, in my opinion. Do you know what I mean? Like, let's be honest.
Who are we bringing into the franchise now? And I look forward to going with my partner and my son to watch this as well, because all three of us are very excited to go and see it at the cinema. You know what you're saying, though, Liam? The thing about the way they do trailers, though, is that they're all hooks. That's what they do. You know, these are they are formulaic, but they'll hook people in, and that's the whole point. But again, as you said, Sixo, they're also the stuff that we don't know. And what I could see coming out in this, and we can touch on this later, is that underlying story, and that this will take you potentially on a bit of an emotional roller coaster with that kind of character.
I would hope so.
And that's what I'm hoping for.
I'm convinced there is one person in Hollywood who makes every movie trailer.
Yeah.
Because they are all the same. No matter what it is,
AI.
it's the same. It'll have like a pop song or a slow version of a famous song.
Yeah.
And then there'll be some like grand Hans Zimmer style music. And all this was here. And again, you're like, oh, look, it's big epic shots. And you're like, and then it cuts to a joke. I missed you remember like the old days of trailers where you were like, he was a guy, she was a girl.
I do miss
they
that.
They fell overboard and into love. And it'd be like comedy japes, that guy. I miss that voiceover guy.
Are you saying, Liam, that it's not like it was in your day?
Yeah. You were doing what you said a minute ago.
What was the film that came out recently? I can't remember what trailer it was. And I was like, this... Oh, it's the Beetlejuice trailer. For the new Beetlejuice.
Yeah. I've seen it,
and I watched it, and straight away I was like, that feels exactly like a modern trailer.
Yeah.
And so I went back to watch the old Beetlejuice trailer, and it's like the same as the Batman trailer, where you've got the voiceover and all that stuff.
Totally.
And it's just like, I kind of missed that sort of charm of this silliness. But again, that was over time.
Yeah.
Everything's over time. And you know, movie trailers evolve, as you said, as well. And, you know, I think of things like, you know, the kind of Inception trailer and things like this as being some of those sort of landmark trailers that when they hit, it was like it sort of changed how everybody does trailers. Do you know what I mean? And it has such an influence.
Transformers 2007, Hans Zimmer.
I would completely agree. Yeah, 100%. Exactly that. You know, there's these sort of pivotal trailers that come out that make such an impact and such a splash, and it clearly work in terms of marketing. That then for the next decade, every film that comes out tries to copy exactly what they did.
Yeah.
To varying degrees of success, you know.
There is a downside, though, to this. Do you not think that some of these trailers sort of become like just disposable, forgettable stuff, which is what a trailer is supposed to be fair, but it's like they kind of all just get lost. But then I suppose I think it's easy to say that now for me because we have YouTube, Twitter, and we are exposed to trailers constantly. Whereas when we were kids, we would see them at the start of videos or in the cinema or occasionally on the telly. Whereas now you have
they're everywhere.
Access, you all see it. It's like a event.
Well, now they've just this week. I've just noticed it with the new Joker trailer, and it was another one as well. I can't remember what the other one was.
Was that good? I haven't watched it.
I literally just watched it now. Yeah, it's great.
It the Joker movie that's not a musical, but seems like a musical?
I think it is a musical. Yeah, I think.
Well, the director said it's not a musical. But it's built around music. I was like, it sounds like a musical.
Lady Gaga
sounds like a musical.
Yeah.
To be fair, it's a very good trailer, and it looks really good. And but the whole thing I was going to say is that they've started playing them now as YouTube adverts.
What's it called? What's the title? Sixo?
Folie à deux.
Encore une fois.
Encore une fois. Yeah, maybe.
Joker 3. Encore une fois.
Encore une fois. It should be. But no, they've started playing them as YouTube adverts now. So like you go on to watch a completely unrelated video. I was quite surprised actually to watch whatever video I was watching on YouTube. I can't remember. And the Joker trailer popped up. And I was like, I'm always kind of like, oh, am I in the wrong video? Oh, no, it's an advert. You know,
totally. It's very confusing.
But that's a very new thing, I think.
It's happening on Prime now as well. Do you know there's one thing actually talking about... So I know we've got housekeeping to do though as well, Sixo.
Yeah. Well, we can zoom through that. Go to TF Source. We've got a Patreon and rebel.com/people/triple-takeover/explore. Anyway, back to the show.
There we go.
Brilliant.
Well done. I love it. But we are forgetting that... So... all three. Oh, I don't know if you did, Liam. I can't remember now, but I know for a fact that Sixo and myself were sitting, waiting for the trailer to drop.
Oh yeah,
and on the live stream and talking about marketing and promo, and then we sat there. Yes,
we'll come to that. We'll get to that.
Nice.
So I tell you what, I'm going to do my housekeeping, then we'll get because I do want to talk about that.
Yeah, because that's got to be talked about.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, so real quick, we have a sponsor. They're tfsource.com. Go and check them out for all your Transformers and third-party needs. We also have a Redbubble, but Liam will talk about that no doubt later, and we'll have
more on that later.
Nonsense made-up person that's dropped us a DM or something.
What do you mean? I have no idea what you mean.
Sure, mate, sure. And also, do check out our Patreon, but we'll do a longer segment on that at the end of the pod as well. So do stick around because we're going to answer some Patreon questions, which is always quite entertaining. And our patrons seem to be enjoying that segment as well, which is really, really nice.
Do.
So,
yeah, it's great.
See, that's just what I said, but faster.
Right, exactly, yeah. That's just like you and me, Liam. That's our dynamic.
Is this you doing the housekeeping? So you swept it under the rug.
Exactly.
Our dynamic is, and it only occurred to me recently, we are like Bobby the Brain Heenan and Gorilla Monsoon.
Is that right? I thought you were going to say Bert and Ernie from Sesame Street there.
I'm a big fan of wrestling, and I was rewatching old WrestleManias recently in the build up to the most recent one. And then the more I watched it, I was like, oh my God, that really is me in Sixo. Jason is Lord Alfred Hayes. Like,
yes. Nice.
Only wrestling fans will know what that means. But I was like, God, we are like that.
Interesting.
Brilliant.
Sixo putting up with my bullshit.
I didn't
At least
say
you're
it.
aware.
I didn't say it.
Yeah.
I said nothing. Anyway, no, let's talk about the marketing of this thing then, because you're right. You were going to talk about
the balloon.
space.
Literally launching the trailer into space. Kind of space. Well, that was it, because one of our patrons, who is an actual rocket scientist, I asked him, did it make it to space? And it didn't, actually. It didn't go high enough.
Was that Joshua's?
Joshua's, exactly, yeah. And
good lad.
But the funniest thing about this was the fact that, and I think you cited this actually, Sixo, that when everyone was sitting waiting, there was about 25,000 people on the YouTube waiting for it to start, and it came in, and then it was like a countdown of an hour, and everyone left. Well, not everyone, but a lot of people left.
About 10,000 people left. I mean, I was watching the counter, the view counter, and it was. I think it peaked at about 24,000.
Yeah,
and then it just went straight down
everyone
to about
for lunch.
13.
So, can I ask then? So when the trailer debuted, did you have to watch it on your screen like you were watching it on the telly in space?
Yes,
because I saw the pictures, and I was like,
didn't know.
Are they going to make people watch it like that?
I did predict. So we were watching this Autobot logo, and it was switching between different views of the Autobot logo. But when the actual trailer dropped, the camera turned around
back to Earth
and showed the other side of the microsatellite, and there was a screen there.
Yeah,
and so it was actually in space at that point. And it zoomed in, but you did watch it on a smaller screen so it was
so
funny.
weird.
Picture in picture.
Yeah, exactly.
I gotta say about this, because I mean, first thing, it was advertised that there was going to be before anybody's like atting us and saying, "Hang on," because it was advertised that there would be a countdown, and it was clear that the start time was we'll send it up into space. I got it wrong, and I know many, 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 many other people who also got it wrong, who also tuned in expecting to just watch the trailer, only to be confronted with an hour of this thing going up through the atmosphere. And it was quite bizarrely
it was kind
nice.
It was kind of beautiful, wasn't it? It was just these images. I was like, wow. And then you were then it would go into cloud and you'd be like, what's going to happen? And there was a part of me which is like, what if this fails? What if suddenly it plummets? Do they still show the trailer, or do they have a backup?
Yeah, probably.
All right, so I didn't really pay much attention. I sort of got the gist of it, but were they sending it to someone? Was it like going to the space station, the International Space Station?
No,
floating it up and there to like fish it out, fishing line out the window, coat up, pull it in, and all that sort of thing.
Free phone.
No, just up and down.
Did they have to watch it on a screen outside the window of the space station?
Yeah,
it got to 30,000 feet. That's where it got to, and then that's when it switched round and played the trailer.
And it was funny because I do know people. Like I made a joke, I think, on our Discord about, it's terrible, isn't it, for people that thought that the trailer would be on at a certain time, and they're like working in an office and they've like gone for a loo break to watch
exactly.
it. And one of our patrons immediately came back going, "Yep, that was me." It's like, whoops. It's like, I'm kind of hanging about now. People are starting to think I've got a problem,
So when it came back, so what did it do? Did it stay in space? Is it now space junk, or did it fall back to Earth?
I think it'll come back down.
They collapse them. So they collapse.
Where did it land though?
They come down.
Did it land in some poor size garden? Like go through their skylight? You Adams.
There's actually a company in Scotland that does this exact thing, and so
catch a big net.
The conditions that they have to do, but they have to have a massive area, and they generally try and land it in water, but if they don't, but it will land on land, and it's like a big padded kind of thing, microsatellite, but they pretty much get destroyed when they land.
Really?
So they mashed up a perfectly good telly. I bet it's a good telly they sent up and all.
It was like a really old mobile phone from the look of it. I don't know.
Well, this was the thing. So the actual watching of the trailer, I must admit, after an hour, And I think it depended where you watched it, because I think in some, like if you were watching it maybe on some sites, you just got the trailer, like
the full
on your,
screen one,
not looking at screen on a screen. You were seeing the actual trailer on your screen, as it were. But yeah, the first time I saw this trailer was literally watching a film of a TV screen. And you could see there were little fingerprints on it and stuff, because of course it got to that point in the atmosphere where it was like, it sort of was glazing over a little bit, so it was kind of like, it's a bit smudgy.
Someone had written something white, clean this screen on it,
totally.
like they do on fans and stuff.
Yeah. But it was a bit, and there was reflections on it and stuff like that. So occasionally it would turn and the sun would kind of catch it or something, and it would, you get a little reflection. And I do remember about halfway through, like squinting, trying to make out the details of the trailer, just like, this is fun, but it's also kind of suboptimal, isn't it? It's not like,
but that was it. It was like, this is so awesome that's literally like just kind of pure sun reflecting off this screen. But I also can't see the trailer.
Exactly.
So it was like,
kind of want to be awed by the whole
Someone
space
close the
thing,
blind,
Yeah. It was a funny gimmick. I mean, the thing is,
totally was a gimmick. That was it. But
of course,
it was a lot of fun. Yeah.
But a week on, no one's really talking about it. Like
I admit, I just forgot until right now when we were like,
yeah. When you mentioned it, I was like, oh yeah, that was
that hour that we had to wait.
Literally a week ago.
And they interspersed it as well, Liam, with like clips of Chris and Brian. Brian,
yeah,
Brian. That's it.
Brian Tyree Henry, yeah.
And they kept coming in, and it was kind of weird because I was like, "Oh, is that live or is that pre-recorded?" And it was just little bits at the bottom right, which kind of
pre-recorded.
Yeah, so it was all pre-recorded. Do you know there was a bit though? So it's interesting you saying about the fingerprints on the screen that was in space, but as it moved around, so the camera pivoted like kind of 180 to then look at the other side, and pivot, and there was a part of me that thought, "Oh, they've just flipped that to a CG model, and that's now."
Oh, really?
Faked, yeah. And there was a part of me which is like, are they really doing that? Is that real? And I've not watched it again since, actually, but...
No, I've got no desire to go.
But that was the thing, but the fingerprints, I don't know. It was like, either way, it was...
Very noticeably fingerprints. It was quite funny. Exactly. I did laugh when I saw it. I mean, it was just a bizarre one, wasn't it? I think it would have been different if you'd have had, like, Chris Hemsworth kind of there the whole time talking through it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe that would have got boring as well. I don't know.
I'd have loved to have been in that marketing pitch for that, though.
Yeah, exactly.
It feels like something that Partridge would say, like,
yeah,
we're going to put a trailer on and we're going to put it in space, and everyone else is like, wait, what? Why?
Are we really doing this? Yeah.
It did cause a lot of chat, though. There was chatter all over our Discord. There was chat all over the YouTube as well. And to the credit of what happened...
That's what they want, I suppose, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And, it did. It started about 24,000, and then an hour later, you saw the numbers climbing, and it got to over 26,000 when the trailer was on.
So, I saw it go well. I think it even got to like 40-something thousand. I think was like a lot. I think it really went up. Yeah. But by the time the trailer was about to be on, like when it got to the hour later or whatever, the numbers were more than they had been the hour prior. So it worked in that regard. Yeah.
There's a delightful irony to this whole thing of this is the first time a trailer has been screened in space, but the only people who are watching it are on Earth. Like,
true, that you know about.
Little green man.
Yeah.
It's like the popcorn.
How good is that Bluetooth to start that trailer playing as well, that far away,
Best infrared remote ever.
Amazing.
Some guy...
I bet they were still hammering the buttons and someone had to go and change the AAA batteries in it. Oh, God, get down the shops.
The whole thing really reminded me, actually, of... Do you remember the original Transformers 2007 teaser where the little...
Starscream on Mars?
Is it Starscream? I always thought it was Megatron, but which it's not really clear,
Megatron
is it? But
would have been frozen at that point, wouldn't he?
Oh, come on! Like the continuity is really a fact.
No, I'm sure. I'm sure it's meant to be Starscream. I think that was the idea.
Is that when he's standing looking at Earth? Is that right?
Yeah. No, the rover lands, doesn't it?
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Am I right in thinking is it the Beagle rover? And they tried to explain because remember the Beagle rover went to Mars and got lost.
Yeah, that's right.
And then
you're right.
I'm sure it's that they used it in a trailer as a kind of
that was a good idea.
Really
they use a clip of it in the film as well, don't they? Because there's the guy with the mustache who said, I always remember this line where he goes, I would bet my ridiculous government salary. Like it's that bit that I don't know why it always sticks in my head, but yeah. So they do use a clip. Maybe it is Starscream. Maybe you're right. It would make sense.
I'm sure it's meant to be Starscream.
Maybe so. But it really reminded me of this whole going up into space thing. I don't know why.
Yeah, totally.
Association.
Yeah, and there was part of me as well is like, if they have spun the camera around and this is CG'd, are they going to have like, kind of in the background some meteorites coming in, which are like the Autobots coming to Earth moment again? But no, it was all just very real. That was it. To watch a cartoon. Yeah, it was great.
Exactly. And what a cartoon! I mean, so let's talk about the trailer then itself, and the film and whatever else. And we do have some talking points which we kind of hastily threw together. I do kind of want to talk a bit about the reaction to it and everything as well, because I think it's sort of impossible to talk about this film without sort of framing it around the reaction that it got. And I think it's notable that the reaction was sort of centered around things like the character designs, the setting, the animation, the tone. I'm sort of looking at our list of things to discuss, and it's like they're all elements that have been quite, I don't want to say controversial, because I think that over-eggs it a little bit, but they're all things that have created a bit of discussion, aren't they? Which is funny, because to me, I don't know about you, but I saw this, I watched it, and nothing registered as offensive or like particularly inflammatory, not like offensive, but do you know what I mean? Like, but that it would
not
cause
a man
any
beating
kind
up a
of...
fish.
You the wrong way.
Or a robot beating up a fish. It's not that.
That's true. But nothing about it struck me as like, oh, this is going to create some fandom ire. Do you know what I mean? Like, this is really going to rile people.
No, it just gave me fun vibes.
Yeah.
That's what
it's so inoffensive in a way. Is the thing, right? Like it's...
But that is also what people picked up on, I think, that then they just said it was just for kids. Which was kind of the bit. It was just like,
wow, what a surprise! Toy line making a kids movie for kids.
That's what my partner said. It's like, but it's for kids. It's kids' toys. It's for kids. That's okay.
Yeah.
It's great.
My girlfriend loved it. She thought it was brilliant. She's like,
so did mine.
Yeah,
she was
funny.
Squealing. She said, we're definitely going to go see it, yeah? And so that reaction. But yeah, the characters, for example, they were, if you think about it, and Liam, you said it earlier, it's definitely got a Pixar kind of Toy Story kind of life to
DreamWorks. It's a DreamWorks movie in every way. Except for being by DreamWorks, I don't think it.
Actually, do we know who did it? Who's done it? Actually, which animation studio?
Oh, it's ILM.
Is it ILM that did it?
It's
right,
ILM.
nice.
Yeah. It's ILM.
So it's just but the characters and the way that they're moving, it's got some really just old school kind of animation techniques to it, of like even just the squash and stretch that's going on, and the way the characters are so kind of over-egged and stuff. So it's very theatrical.
So I think
very alive.
A lot of people were expecting something that looked like Spider-Verse. I'd heard a lot of comments prior to this going live where people were like, oh, I bet it's going to look like Spider-Verse, like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mutant Mayhem, like those kind of films, and have that kind of almost hand-drawn artistic quality to it. And it's not that at all. It's a bit more straight up CGI.
It's Kung Fu Panda, innit? It's that. Exact style. That's what it is. It's that same sort of CG, not in a negative. It's just there are, like you say, that Spider-Verse style, but then there are those other styles, and that's very much in the category of
it's a stylistic
traditional 3D animation that look very polished and shiny, and it works fine.
Reminds me of real robots. That kind of thing. It's like
I can see that.
It's got this CG to it as well.
But I thought it looked good. I have to say, I thought a lot of the sort of almost regardless of the animation style, I thought a lot of the film, the bits that we saw, the shots were really gorgeous. I thought they were really nicely composed. I thought there was a lot of stuff that, like, even just from a photography perspective, I was looking at like the way that the light was used and shadows and things like this, and I was like, it's a handsome film for sure from what we've seen of it.
Yeah, so there's the bit that when they're all on this like kind of floating sled and they're going over the plains of, I assume, Cybertron at that point.
Cybertron.
And it just looks beautiful. It's a really lovely vista, and the way they've designed it, and they've got all these kind of quirky little kind of robo-antelopes going on. Rantelopes is what I'll call them. And and they're all just like in the same level that I was like, ooh, they're all going, ooh. It just made me laugh.
I thought there was a lot of nice stuff, a lot of nice use of light and some of the explosions. The colours I thought were really vibrant, which I really enjoy. Like I love all the bright pinks and sort of harsh blues and things like this. It's definitely one that I look forward to seeing on a big screen and just enjoying the look of
vista.
It.
Yeah. Like there's a really beautiful bit where D16 is kneeling in front of the Decepticon logo that's all covered in moss. and greenery and all this kind of stuff. And just those, and now having watched it like 8 times, and all these, I thought
it was 6.
It might have been 6.
I
don't know. It's gone up. I've literally just watched it right now. Also, chatting twice, and but the first time I watched it, I didn't actually think that D16 had transformed, because I was like, "Oh, what does he transform into?" But actually, I did just notice there's a glimpse of him.
Yeah, there is,
for a few frames in this kind of little, what looks like quite a cutesy little tank thing, isn't it? But yeah, that moment of just sitting down, the way that they framed that, it's got a very ominous kind of feel to it as well, and that's kind of where this style can lend itself quite nicely to take you emotionally on a journey.
I think so, and it's not trying to be Spider-Verse either. It's a different prospect to that. But yeah, no, I think that shot is quite interesting. I think that's, and certainly a lot of people have talked about this, but I think that's pretty conclusively supposed to be Megatronus, the Decepticon symbol that he's looking at, which is the Fallen.
The 13 primes are all in there, aren't they?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, this is so that's
very very obviously the thing that they're kind of working in. So it's kind of almost canonizing that backstory.
I thought we were finally away from that 13 prime thing. It seems to have made a comeback. A few years ago, I thought they've realised this is crap, nobody likes this, and they've moved on. And then recently they're like, actually, let's maybe start going back to them. Like, no,
man, it's becoming the kind of Joe Chill equivalent of the Transformers universe. It's like the de facto backstory, if you like. But it's interesting how they're working it all in. I mean, obviously there's Quintessons in there and stuff as well, and
that's the one thing that I question about as well, is that a lot of fun, a lot of action, all this going on, but that character conflict, there's none of that shown in the trailer, obviously, at this stage.
I think there'll be a lot, as I said, I think there'll be a lot more of that we haven't seen. There's clearly a lot of stuff, with the 13 primes. There's clearly a lot of stuff about the backstory of Cybertron. They've obviously kind of hinted at something in there about like the Decepticons already being a thing, or at least like there's something to do with the Decepticon symbol. I don't know if that means that the Decepticons called that were a thing previously and they've all forgotten it or something, or there's some sort of birthright thing there that D16 is kind of making himself aware of, or
uncovered. Is that,
it's probably his face, wasn't it? Yeah. Probably just a face, and Megatron probably takes it as the symbol. It's like, this is a moment of revelation for him.
I don't know, because the symbol's already on his arm. You can see, even though he's not.
Is it?
Leader,
I didn't notice that.
The whole way through the runtime of the trailer, he's got a Decepticon, or a sort of quasi-Decepticon logo on his left shoulder.
Wow.
On his bicep kind of area. And it's there the whole time. So I think that there's probably something where my interpretation anyway, I could be wrong, is that he's got this kind of branding and he doesn't know what it's about, and then he sees the symbol and he's kind of like, and it's like it leads to some sort of uncovering of a history. Yeah.
It's a journey of discovery. Exactly.
Megatron and Dadatron.
Yeah.
You're my father.
But, I think there'll be some sort of backstory that's been hidden, presumably because the Quintessons are in charge of Cybertron and have enslaved the Transformers and have put them all underground and wiped their memories. And it seems like, to me, with the T-Cogs, I'm just going off on it now and giving you all the theories, but my take was that the T-Cogs, probably they had them before and that they could transform, and that they got taken out, presumably by the Quintessons, and now they're being given them back by Alphatron.
So Alpha Trion, you mean?
Alpha Trion. He's got a bit of moss on him.
He does have moss on it. Yeah, I was quite pleased about that. I was like, he fits in, he's an
Vindication.
Yeah, exactly. Wait until they say his name in the show, and I'll be like, yes, thanks, guys.
You sure it's not Alfalfa Trion, Jason?
Could well be.
Could well be.
Could well be. Voiced by Lawrence Fishburne.
Oh dear.
Wow.
I've just gone into a different reality.
I feel like we've just taken a step too far, and somehow it's you.
I know. Yeah. We just quick. So the bit about Alpha Trion, and when he gives them the cogs.
Sounds wrong when you say it.
I know. So it's because it's not. Alpha Trion is what I would say. It's just my brand. Alpha Trion. It's what it is. When he gives them their cogs, so they've got an obvious gap sitting there throughout, like the Orion Pax's chest is open and you can see the gap right at the beginning as well.
It makes me think they're all supposed to turn into those, those machines you play at, like at the arcade at the seaside, and you chuck those balls and you have to get them in. It makes me think that they all just turn into those, like Megatron and all them guys. They're like amusement arcade bots.
Yeah, that'll be the next toy.
Skee ball, I think Americans call it.
Throw it in.
Skee ball, yeah.
But as a sequence, though, again as well, there was some real, we were talking about the trailer earlier and how you put them together, but there was some proper crowd pleaser moments as well, and that for me was one of them when they all get their cogs, and you can imagine that's going to happen like a third of the way through the movie, and you know it's going to be coming, and how they're going to just kind of transition to that stage, but this again. It's not like they're suddenly like, oh, we're Transformers now, because there's all this kind of clumsiness. My concern, I suppose, is what the early Star Wars films were guilty of, where things were just kind of happening by accident, which it always makes me, it's like, that's fine a few times, but I don't want too much of that.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, because it kind of spoils it.
Yeah, I also have to, my only nervousness with some of the backstory stuff is that, but also that the kind of start of the whole Autobot Decepticon conflict will come down to one or two individuals, like they're mates and they've broken up, basically, and I don't want it to be that, I want it to be about something a little bit more. I'm hopeful with this whole kind of Megatronus background, if that is a factor, as I kind of suspect it might be, that'll, as I say, there'll be something a little bit more there.
Expand it out.
Yeah. But I would hate it to just be like, we're not friends anymore for some reason, and now that's going to start a war, because I, as much as I don't mind Megatron and Optimus being the central characters of the whole kind of Transformers ethos, I don't want them to be so central that they're literally the catalyst of everything that happens, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually. That's fair. Yeah.
It becomes, for me, it's like how Star Wars, to bring that up again,
it shrinks it down to
exactly
a much
that
more minor conflict than it should be a big societal thing, shouldn't it, rather than basically just come down to a breakup.
It's like how in Star Wars you've got this massive galactic thing going on, this whole saga, but ultimately it all comes down to the same bloody family every time.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like the Skywalkers.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't get away from. And to me, Transformers has rarely been that. Like, you can have a small cast, but they're a small cast and you're aware that there's another small cast somewhere else and another small cast somewhere else, and it's like it's all part of a larger universe. Whereas as you said, Liam, to me it makes the story very small if it's all related to two bros having a beef,
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it could be better than that. I think that's.
I think that's one of the things that's always bugged me about Transformers since they've introduced the idea of Optimus and Megatron being friends before.
Yeah.
I can't remember where that came in first. The first one I remember is in the movie when they were like Megatron and Optimus were brothers. And I instantly hated it because I'm like, exactly what Sixo said about it, you're reducing the scale of what this should be. I like the idea that they become enemies. They don't need a personal reason for beginning all this stuff. It's just that they are the opposite sides.
Yeah, they can learn to hate each other over time.
Yeah.
And I've always disliked that thing being introduced. And so seeing it here, I'm used to it. But even then I was like, they kind of got to sift through why this starts. And I was like, this isn't quite the origin story that I would like myself, but I'm going to watch it, see where it goes.
Yeah.
I remember when it was in the comic, and I remember quite liking it. I like the idea of him and Librarian and this whole kind of, and it was Megatron in the mines, and he was the worker class of the Transformers at that point, and then there was all about the class divide and all that.
I think he was a gladiator in Dreamwave, wasn't he?
Well, that's Marvel as well. He was Gladiator in Marvel. But again, all of these interpretations to me work because there's a sort of a reason that Megatron has a fundamentally different outlook on things than Optimus. He's come from a very different background. I mean, IDW did this really well, and kind of his whole kind of socio-political outlook was skewed by his experiences, and that made sense. But same in Marvel, to be fair, where he was a gladiator and he kind of rose up, and it wasn't expanded on as much, but it was definitely part of it, where he'd kind of risen up and kind of then decided to make his own destiny, if you will, in the worst possible way. And the other thing that does is that Optimus makes a choice to make this stand and become this hero, not because he feels responsible for Megatron, but just because it's almost like it's not that personal to him, but he's doing it anyway, if that makes sense. And there's a sort of nuance about that I quite like. Whereas, as you say, when you make them best mates, it sort of does take that away a little bit somehow.
It'd be like, but they had to be related, and that's the only reason these two people could have been on opposing sides. It's that kind of thing, and you're like, no, sometimes different people rise up against each other, and that's the kind of conflict.
It doesn't have to overlap, yeah. But, it is related to this trailer, though, and what this movie, because for me, the stuff that I saw in the movie is it was touching on a lot of different Transformers lore, which I really liked. And I think that's why, going back to the kind of reaction, irrespective if you think it's a cartoon for kids or not, which for me is moot, but I liked the fact that this trailer was kind of pulling different elements in and going, we can use this bit and this bit.
And I should be clear that even the stuff that I might comment on it and say that's not my preference, I don't mind that they've included it at all. I'm not I'm not angry about it. And I can understand why they've done that. I think for this film, the whole them being friends thing will be quite compelling, and it will make it streamlines the story. And of course, they're playing into that line from the movie, from the 2007
It's
film.
the story for this kind of film, though, isn't it?
Exactly.
It is.
I don't think you can do kind of opposing war sort of leaders and a thing like this. It can't be that heavy. It's got to be a kind of a much smaller film like this.
Yeah.
The only thing I wasn't really keen on is that they don't transform from the jump. I'm not into that.
Oh, really? You want them to be Transformers straight away?
They're called the Transformers. They're not Transformers. They don't transform.
This is the journey, Liam. This is
How can the race be the Transformers if in the film they're not supposed to be able to transform? They have to go and get up to japes.
But something's happened to stop them because they've got a gap.
Transformers. They were Transformers, but they've had it taken away. I genuinely think that's what it will be.
Well, no, that's obviously what's happened. But it feels like these are younger bots who have grown up in a world where they're going to get the transforming cog for the first time.
Yeah.
And I feel like transforming is such an intrinsic part of Cybertronian society. It feels like that's what the whole world should be built on. But that's what's going to make it interesting and different.
Yeah, exactly. I see your point there. There's been a lot of different takes on why Transformers transform, and the best ones are the ones where it feels like something that is just an inherent part of who they are. James Roberts is really good at this.
Yeah, not a special ability.
Yeah, like breathing. Yeah,
exactly.
Not something they've learned or developed as by leveling up. It should be something that's so fundamentally part of them that they don't know where one mode ends and the other begins. They don't just transform into something for the sake of it. It's like they've got a function for that.
And they touch on that in Skybound, don't they, in the Transformers comic, when he's talking to Spike in the early bits, which is really nice in the way that they talk about what it is to be a Transformer and how they do it. It's like, well, I don't really...
Yeah, treating it less like a superpower and more just like an everyday ability.
Eating or breathing or
like
whatever.
Walking. Or,
it's cool.
It's something they often fail on with Transformers, particularly in video games and stuff, where it's the alternate mode is just there as a secondary thing you can do, usually as part of a special move or fighting or something like that. But you're meant to just wander around, and it always kind of feels like it's not as integrated as it should be. But that's not a criticism of this film, because I think the idea that they've had the sparks removed from some point in society since the Winter Suns rocked up, they've been taking these out, is going to be interesting and different of its own. That's how you get new things added, don't you? It's just not my
this is it.
Preference.
And coming back to your point, Jason, sorry that I know you did bring up, but I took it, I'm sure it's not an intentional reference or anything, but that to me was like another little unintended maybe nod towards Beast Machines. It's like the way they had to learn to transform and that kind of aspect of it. So I do think that there was a lot of, whether it's a direct reference or like a character like what's her name, Arachnid, or like the Vircon from Transformers Prime, those are very overt direct nods that are in this film quite clearly. I also take that I think there's some stuff which is more just like a slight brushstroke, like a bit of color that comes from somewhere else, and it may not be, this is a direct nod to that, but they've taken the inspiration from it.
Part of the world. Yeah.
It's a vast franchise as well, and so you're going to see ideas repeated,
exactly,
even when they're not deliberate or homages, because it's just we've had so many different things now, so many characters, and things are going to turn up that similar to other things that we look at and go, oh, this must be a reference to that, but the people designing it would have had no idea, never seen it. It's
we will pick this apart when it comes out.
Totally. Believe me, I don't imagine that they put Beast Machines front and center in whatever binder they gave to the director and whatever. Do you know what I mean?
Say that now, but it's going to come out one day. Some guys listening to going, man, I put all that effort in, and everybody thinks it was just a bloody accident.
Yeah, totally.
Exactly.
There's one thing as well that I wanted to touch on, which is the choice of the main characters. So it's like we've obviously got Orion Pax, we've got D16, but then we've got Alita and B, or Badassatron as well.
Or B, what's he called? 187 or something like that?
Yeah, 187. Just going to call him B.
Isn't that the American code for murder? 187. That isn't it?
Is it? Oh no! Oh, that's changed the film a lot now.
What?
That's right. There was a film. I'm sure it's called 187, and with Samuel L. Jackson. It came out in like the 90s, and I'm sure that's the code for
There's been a murder.
Murder in America.
There's been a murder. Oh no!
Section 187, often referred to as simply 187, is the California Penal Code for the crime of murder.
Yeah, there we go. See?
No way! I can't believe you knew that, Liam. That's really dark.
I saw the film.
That's changed the film.
But is he B187 though?
I just remember him being Badassatron.
He's 127.
Oh, right, fuck.
Well, I was only joking when I said 187. That's it was something similar. But...
I was just like, hang on, that doesn't sound quite right.
This would be really bad. This
they
is a
named
kids
him
movie.
after him.
Sorry, not to halt this whole thing before like people are listening to this going, what?
Yeah, no, he's a murderer.
Well, it would fit because he wants to murder people with swords. So
well, he does
have
knife hands. So that's the clip. I'm going to jump straight there, but that's the clip I cut out and posted because Badassatron. I love that guy already.
But the battle mask, and he called it a battle mask.
Yeah, and he, it was just brilliant. It was just so stupid and so funny. And he's like, "I've got knife hands. This is amazing." Accidental kill.
What did you think of the names though? Because two of them are clearly numbered, and the others are given actual names. Do you think this is going to be like a story point of the positions in society and class and all that sort of thing?
I don't think it's going to get that deep into it. Honestly, I can't see it. It is weird that they've got like two of them have got names, two of them don't. Although Alita won, so I don't know. I don't think
I do wonder about Alita though, where she comes from. God, how kick-ass is she as well? That sequence with her, where she just comes in and just amazing, brilliant.
In the movie, I bet when she does that, it's got that flicking music from Kill Bill. You remember that they do in everything now. She does it, and then she leaves the room. Something falls off that she's chopped, and it's like slowly, like the ceiling falls in or something.
I wouldn't be too surprised.
Yeah.
Talking about the names just quickly, D16. Obviously, a lot of people have been talking about the fact that this is a reference to Megatron's toy in Japan. Yeah. Have you seen this?
Nice.
The thing is, it is, but it also isn't because it's weird. Because the original Megatron toy was just 16. It wasn't D16. It was they didn't have they didn't. In the first year, 1985, of the Japanese toy line, they didn't use D and C as the designations. It was just literally all numbered. But that's evidently where that's come from. But I did think it was a really clever way to give Megatron a sort of pre-name, if you like a pre-origin name.
Yeah.
One thing that made me laugh about these characters was I saw a few comments about this of people saying, "Oh, that's not the Optimus Prime that I recognize," and it's like, well done.
Yeah. It's not Optimus Prime.
You stumbled on the concept of a prequel. It was quite a funny comment to read. Like I really wasn't expecting it, but quite a few comments like that.
When I watched it, it reminded me of the Orion Pax from the cartoon. Like I could totally see that Orion Pax getting up to these kind of japes. Because we only see him briefly in War Dawn or wherever it was in the animated series. And he very much strikes you as this kind of happy-go-lucky youth who would be up to Goonies-style escapades on the weekend.
It's exactly like that. Like it feels like a sort of that guy before he's got the responsibility, as it were. And of course, he's not going to be the same gruff old soldier that's had like a millennia long-spanning war. Of course they're going to be different.
That's why he's Orion Pax.
Yeah, it just made me laugh.
Yes.
But I think the weird one for me actually is Megatron, or D16, or whatever you want to call him, just because we've never seen that before. Like Orion Pax we've seen, even Elita 1 as a kind of younger version we have seen, and Bumblebee is just kind of the comedy element. But D16 to me is the one where it's like, okay, this is something new. Like we haven't seen that version of Megatron really before he went bad. Like most versions of Megatron, even when he's new, you can tell that it's the same character, if that makes sense.
God, could you imagine if they made like this film based on the cartoon Orion Pax and like Megatron is used? It'd just be like sort of teen Orion Pax with like nothing about him, and then wet blanket Megatron wandering around everywhere moaning that he's not powerful enough.
True.
Like that's what I mean. Like if you think back to those cartoons, the early versions of these characters didn't really have much to them. This kind of fits without being directly the same. It's kind of what you could imagine they could have been with a bit more personality. They've all got way more personality.
I think so.
Yeah.
It's very, very DreamWorks joke heavy, isn't it? That's what it should be. That's what these kids' films are like.
Yeah, totally. And let's not forget Megatron's eye color. Oh, D16's eye color as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
this is the thing that makes me also think that there's some element of like heritage there or whatever. I don't know. So he doesn't just turn his eyes orange or red just to become bad like he's always had them. So
yeah, it's like this journey as well.
Or that may just not be acknowledged.
Put his contact lenses in.
Maybe just like when he turns bad. You know, like they have to change the bulb. That's all. And
it's like
the bad bulb, Red Dwarf. Yeah,
you know, like Master Fiche Grimlock. You for the little slider,
yeah,
and change
exactly.
blue to red.
Little slider gimmick.
Got that on the back of the. I'm a bad guy now, guys.
Oh, sorry, guys. Switching allegiance. There we go.
The whole discourse around the characters and stuff, I always find it strange because, like you said there, about people like, oh, this isn't the Optimus Prime I grew up with. When we watched the film, the 2007 movie, you'd say the same thing, wouldn't you? You'd go, this isn't the same. This murder-happy, crazed, mad robot guy is not the Optimus Prime I grew up with, but that's fine.
It's what we sort of alluded to earlier. It's just people slowly realizing that actually Transformers moves on pretty quick, and
they transform.
Yeah, they transform.
It's literally in the name.
Yeah, but it's unusual. There aren't many toy lines. Not many. Like obviously there are, but there aren't many that last 40 years, and so naturally you're going to see it evolve over that time. You know, and become something else. There was one or two comments I saw, like comparing it to War Dawn, for example, and things like this, where people were like, oh, it's a different story to that, and you know, this is the Transformers that I know, and yeah, well, this is it. It's 40 years old, and the thing I don't really get about that, and the thing that kind of does really baffle me whenever I see that kind of take on things like this, is that why do you want the new thing to be exactly like the old thing? Like,
well, you've already seen,
yeah, you've seen it.
Exists
Don't repeat
already.
It. Yeah, exactly.
Like, why are you trying to force the media from your youth onto the children of today? You know, that they have to watch exactly the same thing that you grew up with because you perceive it to be better. There's a sort of mental block there that I can't wrap my head around, that way of thinking. You know, it's like keeping the stuff that you grew up with, which was a very silly children's cartoon. Let's be fair. Like, we can all hold it up and be like, don't we love it and everything, but it was still a silly children's cartoon.
Go watch Short Circuits and you'll see what we want.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, I love it,
no,
but it's silly, let's be honest.
Yeah. but you're totally right, and it is that thing about that as well, as for us as fans and collectors and who love this brand and this toy line, that we need this because we need the whole new generation of fans to come in, because this being successful is going to bring on even more fun and more toys and more stuff.
I completely agree with that, but I think there are almost people that don't. There are almost people that would rather... I don't know. I'm trying to wrap my head around the psychology. Like, I'm actually interested, you know, just because it seems that there are people that hold what they grew up with in such a kind of glass case, you know, and hold it up as like the sort of Magna Carta, if you will, of like epic storytelling. And I don't know genuinely whether they want to just have all new generations go through the same exact media that they got as a kid, or if they just want it to die off and they're just like, you know,
just hold on to that one
exactly
version.
Their thing exists in time, as it were, a sort of mark in the sand, you know.
Yeah, it's odd that, isn't it, though, because it still exists. None of this Transformers 1 won't change that. It won't change 84 release of the UK comic for me and how I felt and all this kind of stuff. The way that I approach it, as I said, it'll just add to it. And some of it, you know, I'm not a Bayformers fan at all, but I don't go out of my way to ruin it for other people that are. I've got plenty of friends that love it, and that has done so much for the franchise. So yeah, it's just a waste of energy.
I completely agree. Like, I'm not a major fan. Some of it's all right. I'm not a major fan of the War for Cybertron cartoons, and I have said that, but I still think they have their place, and I acknowledge that there are people that love them. And, you know, we can all say, I don't like it, or there absolutely are. There absolutely are.
Really?
Yeah, there are. Take my word for it, man. There definitely are. Definitely. But, like, every bit of it contributes in some way. No. I promise you, it came up in conversation on Twitter this week.
It did, I saw it, yeah. And it was like, well, it was an odd article, though.
It's a very funny article.
Yeah.
It was just said about, it was just the fact that it held it up as the best bit of the franchise. And it's like,
I saw
someone
it.
had an agenda.
Really though? Like, Don't get me wrong, you don't have to hate on it. But
it should have said IMO. That's what it should have said in the article. But,
I think a lot of problems on the internet would be solved by people just saying, "In my opinion,"
exactly.
whatever they're asserting. But fair enough. If that's what people think, then fair enough. But I do think it's interesting that, as you said, it's almost like people forget that something new coming along and putting a different spin on it. You don't even have to like it, but it doesn't take away from the bit that you do like. It doesn't change that,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
absolutely. And just think about it as well. Probably won't be around in 40 years. Maybe I will. Depends. But if I can get a new Transformers cog. There'll be a whole new generation of fans that are maybe on whatever a podcast is in 40 years' time, chatting about Transformers 1. And that's and who knows?
They'll be looking at a new film that's come out that year in the year, what is it, 2060 something, whatever it is, and they'll be like, "Oh, this new crap that's out now isn't like the film that I grew up with." Do you know what I mean? In whatever year it was,
everyone's getting so angry. Yeah,
somebody will uncover this podcast. Like when they show like clips of like silent movies in the old days, and there's little things coming up. It'll be like that.
Yeah. Look at these guys in the real world.
Oh man, it'll be hilarious.
Holograms of us appears.
Yeah. I know, it's true.
But it is funny to think of that. But it's also true because the three of us, we've sat through. I mean, you guys obviously we've talked about it. Remember when like all the Bayformers stuff, when those trailers came out and the uproar that it caused, but also the new fans that it brought in. And the realistic thing that happens is that it moves on again, and another new generation comes in, and more new media comes in, and the stuff that was controversial at the time still maybe has a little air of controversy to it, but the franchise moves past it and becomes something else. Like I remember when Bayformers was such a thing, and some people were like, "Oh, this has ruined the franchise," because it's not recognizable as the Transformers that I grew up with. But when you look at Transformers now, it looks nothing like Bayformers. It's almost like it's gone through that period, and it's sort of morphed into something else again.
Yeah, it progresses and it changes, and it and some things work, some things don't work. But then the diversity of it, and that's what I love about it, is that there's something for everybody to pick into and dig into and enjoy. And let's be honest as well. The reason that we have so much to talk about on this podcast is because of this. That's the reality of it. So much, true. And that's without it, we wouldn't have a podcast. That's the lovely thing. So
just be Liam making puns to himself.
That's what the people want.
Making Star Trek noises.
Yeah.
Get it over. Go check out the more content for more puns over at patreon.com.
Yeah, very good.
I like that. Went nicely done. It's very good. There is one thing that I did want to bring up as well, though, is we have got an A-list cast in this as well.
We do.
So from a...
Scarlett Johansson's in it.
Yeah.
I didn't know that, and then
did you not realize?
I did not realize it all, and then I saw it somewhere. And I went, "Wait, what? What?"
Yeah, totally. Yeah, so I remember that's the only thing I knew about it when it was
half
announced.
The Avengers.
That's it. It's half the Avengers. I know. I'm expecting Robert Downey Jr. just to swoop in and do a cameo.
Who's doing Bumblebee again?
Bumblebee is done by...
Is it Keegan-Michael Key?
Keegan-Michael Key, yeah.
It was, yeah.
John Hamm is in this as well.
Was he not cancelled off everything?
Oh,
John Hamm, was he cancelled?
Is it John? Oh no, I'm thinking of Army Hammer. Sorry.
He was. Yeah, God.
You are you're each time just close, but not quite there.
Yeah, no.
It's all these American people with Ham in the name. Army Hammer, MC Hammer, all these guys.
Army Hammer was definitely cancelled. Yeah, that was.
Please, Hammer, don't hurt him.
Yeah.
Wow,
that was something else. But no, and Lawrence Fishburne is in this. He's Alpha Trion.
Oh, is he? Alpha Trion. Nice.
Perfect fit.
Yeah, but this is the first time that I can think of that we have got best love and respect to Frank Welker and Peter Cullen, obviously, but but established names that have come in and are now doing characters. And there was definitely a concern I had.
There's going to be Chris Pratt. Is that your concern?
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. But that thing about oh no, is this just going to be Chris Hemsworth being Chris Hemsworth? And is it gonna take me out of it because I can just see Chris Hemsworth, not whoever he was going to play? I assumed it was going to be Optimus Prime, but Orion Pax. So far, that didn't happen. I just was totally these are characters.
He sounds good. The voice, I think the voice sounds good. And I'm someone that I love Peter Cullen's work. I love Peter Cullen as Optimus Prime.
Yeah.
I also think that the franchise can use other people as well. Like, do you know what I mean? I don't...
Yeah.
Like, I
doesn't
really,
always need to be him.
No, exactly. Like, I really like Alan Tudyk as Optimus in Earthspark, for example. I think is great, and that there have been other really good Optimuses. I mean, David Kaye as Optimus in animated is brilliant, legit brilliant, and Gary Chalk did a very good Optimus Prime as well, So there are various voice actors that have taken on the role and done it really well. And I think Hemsworth sounds pretty good. The only bit that got me was there was the one line where he's, I think, trying to be a bit Peter Cullen, and it's a really weird accent.
Yeah,
and I can't remember the line now, but it's about 2/3 of the way through.
They should have got Jason in doing accents.
Yeah.
I'm just relieved they didn't get Jack Black and those kind of things.
Yeah.
But I did think they missed an opportunity with not having someone like Chris Rock as like the full-on comedy character. Like,
no, Chris Rock drives me nuts.
Have him as Beachcomber, just like like the novelty character.
Because the thing about Chris Rock is he's so animated in himself. He just takes over, and I just see Chris Rock, and that was my concern. Is like, am I going to be like, because particularly Chris Hemsworth and Scarlett Johansson are so famous because of MCU that I was like,
not MC Hammer.
Well, exactly. Big difference.
Although Chris Hemsworth, I suppose, MC Hammer of the MC universe.
Oh God,
MCU.
You're just grappling now, Liam. It's like, but I did have a concern that it was going to take me out of it. But...
I do kind of know what you mean. I think I've said on this pod before that I remember Scarlett. Now I got picked up on this because I think I said Scarlett Johansson, and someone I can't remember who, but someone pulled me up and like, it's Scarlett Johansson, and I was like,
say Johansson as well.
Well, I think
that's because we're British. That's how you pronounce it in this country.
If you hear the name Johansson or Johansson in England or Scotland, sorry, Jason, it's typically with a yo. It's pronounced with a soft start. So it's Johansson, but. Yeah, so that's just kind of, but yeah, Johansson, of course, is how she pronounces it. So fair enough.
She knows how to pronounce her own name.
She does. I'm sure she does. Sure, she does.
Americans, though, innit? Making words harder again. Johansson.
I get corrected with my name all the time when I say Jason Wagner and then I spell it, and they like, you mean Wagner? I'm like, okay.
But I must admit, so I think I said before that when she did, I think it was Jungle Book, and she did the snake, that it was very, to me, quite obviously her, and I think there's a little bit of that in this as well, where it's kind of like, it's what you said. I don't want to be watching this going, that's Scarlett Johansson. Do you know what I mean? I just want to kind of lose myself a bit in it. But it's sort of the reality of these films nowadays, isn't it? With the old celeb voices and stuff.
It is, and as well, there's a reason they do this, because that pulls in other people that might not necessarily go and see it. And that's the thing. It's like, who's this for? Like, who's going to be the people that go and see this at the cinema?
Does it pull people in though? Because I'm always interested. Because like, I know that it did. It all started really with Robin Williams as the genie. That was where it kind of became a thing. And the whole deal there was that he said to Disney, "I'll do this, but I don't want you to advertise it on the back of me. Like, I don't want you to use me as a selling point." And they broke that promise and did it anyway. But that's the whole saga there. But the celebrity voice thing kind of rose out of there in a funny way. But I do sometimes wonder, I'm like, little kids are not going, oh, look, Chris Pratt is Garfield, let's go and watch that.
It's the parents, though. So it's for me, they're targeting the parents. So then it's like...
Do you think?
Yeah, that's good. Well, if you think about it, right, that Chris and Brian were there at the beginning to introduce the trailer as themselves. So they're immediately putting two of the main cast members, two very famous people, up front of like, this is us, and making people very aware that they are the voices of these. And if that was Frank Welker and Peter Cullen, would they have done that?
There's a reason they do this, though, isn't there? And it goes all the way back to the 80s, is they use actors and stuff in these kind of animated movies so that parents don't view them as like, oh, we can just watch the cartoon at home. They don't just view it as another episode. They view it as something special. That's why you have...
It's a
big
Hollywood
actors and names. That's why in Transformers the movie they had,
Orson Welles
named people. Yeah, it's to capture the attentions of parents when they see something instead of just looking at it going, Transformers the movie, can just watch that on the telly anyway. What's the difference? It's just longer.
I mean, you are right. Actually, it has been a thing,
and that's why they always do that in these films. It's to stop them looking like straight to video, fare or standard cartoons.
Yeah,
elevates them in the minds.
Yeah.
It does.
I could see that. I do have mixed feelings about it because I think that it is a shame that we've lost this sort of, I don't want to say completely lost this thing of the voice actor, but there are some incredible talented people out there, and it is a shame that they don't get the kind of opportunity.
I agree with that.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes, 100%. It's like I don't want to go too far down this rabbit hole, but it's like I've got a lot of friends that are illustrators and book writers who are really trying to break into a very competitive industry, and then someone from a different, who's very famous, part of the world comes in and just writes a book and immediately gets 100,000 sales because of who they are. But that is unfortunately how it works as well, and that's what your Hollywoods and media will use to get as many bums on seats and as many books in hands as they possibly can. But it's a shame for the people that are that raw talent, and we are all very aware of them as well. We've been lucky enough to have one of them do the shout out on the pod as well.
Well, that is true. That is true. Yeah.
And I think that's it. It was the reason that, like I said, I wanted to mention it is because when it was announced, it did make me kind of go, oh no, what does that mean?
I think, Liam, you made the joke, but it is the Chris Pratt thing where it's just kind of like, do you know, like slight eye roll. I mean, exactly. Like, really? Do you know? And I don't know. I must admit, when they announced it was Chris Hemsworth, I had that reaction. I was kind of like, okay.
Well, I had the Chris, and then I was expecting Pratt, and it was like Hemsworth. Oh, there we go.
I will say, I think he's done a good job with the voice from what I've seen of it. Like, it does sound really good. So, I'm into it. Let's give it a go. Be positive and all of that.
And like I say, you get some of the greatest animated voices ever, like from the genie in Aladdin and stuff like that. Like,
very true.
Eddie Murphy is the dragon fella in Mushu.
I thought you were going to say the donkey
Mulan.
In Shrek. Yeah, that's true. Actually,
yeah. You get all these kind of like real iconic roles, and so sometimes it just.
Well, Tom Hanks is Woody in Toy Story.
And Tim Allen. All those voice actors as well, though, in Toy Story. You think they're all famous-ish people.
Yeah,
that's true. That's true. It can work. It can work. That's the thing. I think we're in a sort of like a real moment of it right now because of the Chris Pratt thing, in a way. I think because of the reaction to him being Mario, and now he's Garfield, and probably tomorrow will be someone else. And so I think there is a kind of a very specific moment of scrutiny on that at the moment. But we'll have to see how it all sounds. Certainly from the trailer, I thought they all sounded pretty good.
Agreed.
I look forward to when they do a Star Wars animated movie and he does Yoda. It's just his own Chris Pratt voice. Right. I liked it when he was doing the Mario film. He's like, I've got a special super voice for it. And you listen to it and you go, it just sounds like your Chris Pratt voice.
It's literally his normal voice. It's
exactly the same.
But going, it's me, it's Mario.
Yeah,
as Chris Pratt.
Wahoo! Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I remember when they unveiled the Wahoo, or there was like a trailer or something, and he goes Wahoo at the end, and there were people writing articles going, "Oh, we've finally heard Chris Pratt has unveiled his Wahoo," and it's like it literally sounds exactly like you thought it would. It's Chris Pratt saying Wahoo, like it's not revelatory.
Don't write millions of articles about it.
Yeah, I still think they got it wrong with that Mario film. I think it should have sounded like it did in the 80s, all the cartoons where it was like a gruff Brooklyn plumber,
right?
Rather than like this kind of high pitched voice they've been giving him for like the last however many years.
Yeah, that would have been funny. What did you make of Megatron's voice? Because I've seen a bit of reaction to this because people are like, it doesn't sound like the Megatron that I know, or whatever. But I don't know. To me, I thought it was interesting, but it's not one that registered with me at all until afterwards. It's what I said earlier, where it was like, of all the things that when I was watching it, I was like, very little registered with me as like, oh, this is going to be a problem. But I have seen more than anything people talking about Megatron's voice.
In my opinion, I think the problem people are having, I think it's the first time he sounds like a normal person.
Yeah, maybe
and
that's
I think
it.
This is, I think this is the dissonance people have, because in everything else, he's always quite grand, or he's got like, in G1, he's got that voice, he's got the vocoder effect, all that sort of stuff. And then in like Prime, he's kind of like a grander villain, and there's a lot of theatrics to him. And here is the very first time I think he just sounds like a normal dude. And I think it's because he's young.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's it. It's just such a different portrayal overall.
Yeah.
Like, B, you can sort of see is Bumblebee. Alita is Alita. Even Orion Pax, who I get he's younger, but it's proto Optimus Prime,
and he's got some lines that fit with his future self.
It doesn't make sense for Megatron to have a distinctive voice at this point.
No, it doesn't.
A real grand voice, because he wouldn't fit in. Then it's one of the things that helps make him stand out. And if you're doing a film about his early years, panning around with a group of misfits and stuff like that,
and
his voice really has to kind of sound a bit more normal, so it can blend and then grow into something. And that's when he becomes this theatrical leader that, you know, charismatically gets people on his side. And I think this is the problem that people are having. They're going, oh, he doesn't sound like Megatron. And I think that's on purpose. And I think that makes sense as to why he wouldn't. It would just sound strange otherwise.
That's his journey. That's what I see it as, that he's going to go through this. And he's kind of, you know, he's just like your everyday Joe. He's like kind of a likable character. It's not an annoying voice or anything. He's just a guy. But I can pretty much guarantee there's going to be that point at the end where it turns into his voice is going to change as he changes, and it's going to reveal.
But he has two voices in everything else. He either has like grand theatrical dramatic evil villain or cheesy evil villain, doesn't he? Like if you go through every interpretation of him, it's always very much that kind of villain, isn't it? You know, and it wouldn't work
theater
at this
over
point.
The top. That's
even putting Welker to one side, like imagine if he just sounded like Hugo Weaving, it would just be so bizarre. You know, like it just wouldn't fit at all. I actually quite liked his voice, but I don't know how it'll sound. Sort of as you said, Jason, kind of come the end of the film. But I presume that maybe it will change a little bit, or that he'll be a bit more kind of grandstanding, if you like, assuming that we get to the point in this film where he's actually a villain. Because I don't know that we will or not, you know?
But they said it's a trilogy, didn't they? They're planning a trilogy.
Oh, are they? Oh, I didn't know that.
They said they're hoping to do a trilogy, so I assume the end of the trilogy is really where they would kickstart the war. But
I don't know.
Even if you go back to like the Unicron trilogy, like think of his voice in that. Like even that's very much aha. And even in R.I.D., it's like you couldn't have that in this film.
No.
You couldn't have the Transformers Prime version because he's much older and he's a more maniacal. He's a villain there. In this, he's not yet a villain, and the voices he has are very villainous voices.
Purposely so. But I'm not sure that whether we will see. I was debating about this, about how far they'll go. I don't know whether we'll see sort of full on like they're Optimus and Megatron now, or maybe they take on those names, but they're not the sort of full form, if you like. Obviously, we've got the shots in the trailer where it's clearly Optimus Prime and it's clearly Megatron.
Exactly.
I don't know,
but when will that happen?
Well, exactly. Both names.
Yeah.
Well, one of them says Optimus Prime, but there's one that says Orion Pax / Optimus Prime.
/Optimus Prime. So I'm guessing that he probably will take on the identity of Optimus Prime come the end of the film. That's my feeling. But I don't know if some of what we're seeing is maybe flash forwards, you know, to kind of a future time or something. Or
getting the transformation cog isn't what makes him Optimus Prime, doesn't it? So if in this film he's going to get the ability to transform, and then I assume he will get the Matrix, which, as we know, is what tends to make him Optimus Prime.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming there's two stages there, aren't there? Because obviously we see the stage where they can transform, because we see they all get that. And so it's then when does he get the Matrix and become Optimus Prime? Is that in this one, or is that in the late one? I'm assuming by the end of this he'll be called Optimus Prime. That feels like it has to go there.
If it's a trilogy, then it's gonna follow your New Hope, Empire, Jedi type thing, which trilogies do, don't they?
Maybe
get to the end and there's a level of loss, and then does it go really dark in the next one?
I don't think it's a pre-planned trilogy in the sense that I don't know that they've mapped out this storyline over 3 films. I think it's like they've made a film, and if it's good, they'll make another 2, maybe.
Right.
I think that's the idea. So I'd imagine though, if they were going to do the war, it would be the end of the trilogy.
Yeah.
I assume at the end of this one, there's some sort of disagreement or some
They're going to go separate ways, aren't they? That's what's going to happen. Yeah.
I think so.
Some misunderstanding.
You can only get so far down the road in one film. It's not going to be 4 million years later. And
or maybe it is.
Maybe it is.
It's animated as well, so it's probably going to be a 90-minute feature. That's the kind of what they would do.
Oh my God! Can you imagine if they did it like Rogue One? And it just suddenly ends.
Yeah,
it's them running into the Ark, and everyone's like, "Wait, what? We didn't know."
That would
Surprise!
That would be genius.
But I think, it would be funny actually. But no, I think I think we probably will see a bit of all of that, the conflict. But I think it'll only go so far, and they'll probably hold some stuff back because they're going to want to make a sequel, probably if it does well. Unless it doesn't, and then they won't. Although, having said that, they apparently are making a sequel to Rise of the Beast now. So, maybe.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's been announced. Yeah, they're doing a proper. I think it's kind of one of those where people are like, "Oh, were they not already making this when it was confirmed?" But they're making a Transformers G.I. Joe sequel.
Oh yeah, Okay. Yeah. Did see that.
So they're actually doing that. But yeah, I would imagine that it'll get to a point and they'll hold some stuff back. But I think you'll see some of the conflict. So whether he'll be Megatron by the end of the film or not, I don't know.
Yeah. We'll have to wait and see. September. It's September, isn't it? Is that when it's out?
Good question. I don't actually know.
No, I think it's August. Oh no, I think it is September. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember. I'm pretty
I remember
sure.
thinking. I think they've just missed in the school holidays.
I've seen the trailer 12 times. Remember, so it's like,
wow,
it's having the right effect on you then. So at least you want to go and see it. That's the main thing.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
What do we make of Cybertron then? Obviously, just talking about like the characters and stuff, but what about the actual setting of it all? Because it's very different, and obviously, this is a Cybertron millions of years prior to what we often see in media, but even then it's quite unrecognizable.
It's foliage. There's
Beast
tree.
Machines again.
There's tree on, you know? Exactly, yeah. They're totally. So there's these little beasties running around that don't look like they can transform. Yeah, I was quite excited about that. And I'll be honest though, because I was kind of like, are they on Cybertron? Or they start on Cybertron and go somewhere else? There's obvious bits. There's that amazing section where there's like the D16 and Orion are on like the jetpacks, and there's that massive big kind of what potentially is a space train or something.
Wait, you got jetpacks now? I was waiting for that.
Yeah. Why have you brought jetpacks? That's great. So there's a kind of like what looks like a very industrial, where the mines are, where they start out, and then that lovely contrast where they go to this kind of idyllic. And Alita comments on this about how beautiful it is as well. So there's, it's not been ravaged by war, has it? Let's put it that way.
It doesn't. I mean, it's an interesting take because Cybertron is typically shown as being, fully mechanical. But I think like even in the Marvel comic, it was grown out of an organic asteroid, and then kind of reformed by Primus, if you like, into a fully metal world. So in some interpretations, even ones where it is a fully mechanical world, there is that element of organic roots to it. But it's never typically portrayed in this way, other than at the end of Beast Machines, I will just say that, where it's like actually kind of part technological, part natural. And I think that is a really interesting take. Particularly around the cave where Alpha Trion is and things like this. Maybe it's because of his name. He's
there we go.
The trees and it's the foliage. But I don't know. I don't really know what to make of it. I like it. It's just really bizarre to see in a film which is digging into stuff like the 13 primes and things like this and quintessons to then have this element which is sort of slightly alien to the classic lore, if you like.
Well, that's the thing, because it's like if we have no idea where this is set, like how far in the past this is, and at what point we're talking about here.
Well, yeah, I kind of wondered if it will evolve into the Cybertron that is more recognizable to us or not, or if they just will leave it as it is.
I'm not a fan of the foliage, but I've never been a fan of that. The organic stuff when they do that in Cybertron, like the IDW 2 started doing that, and I really didn't like it because I like it being a robotic world.
Did it? Yeah. I didn't read much IDW 2 yet, I must admit.
Yeah, it was all right. It was all right, but I was never keen on having mud and dirt and rocks. It's not what Cybertron is to me. But again, I'm going to watch it and see maybe it will be good here. It looked very pretty. But I was just looking again. Oh, man, again. Why is it a rock and a planet? It's not supposed to be this. But then it's new, so it's supposed to be this and this. It's fine.
Yeah, and what are they mining as well? Because they're down. Because that's the thing. They've got these kind of big like blades that they're mining stuff, and it does look like rock. And, because is that part of the story that Cybertron becomes the way that is because they remove all of the natural habitat and they convert it.
I equally wondered if there was some sort of influence from the quintessons there or something. I don't know. Or again, maybe we're just reading too much into it and it is just the design of Cybertron.
That's the setting.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's just what it is, and there's no getting around it. So I don't know, but it is fascinating.
It is, yeah.
I haven't actually seen that much anger about the way Cybertron looks. I thought there would be more. I thought actually that was one thing I did think, people are going to have opinions on that. And I haven't seen a lot about that.
Just me.
Yeah, just Leo.
Well, you were fairly tempered in your take on it, though.
Holding back.
Do you really, really not like it?
No, it's just the thing. I've never liked it whenever they do it. I remember the first time I saw Beast Machines was at the end of the 90s, start of the 2000s, and they turned it into, like a organic planet, and I was like, oh god, no. Let's hope we never see this again. Fast forward, it's like, oh god, they always do it now.
Yeah.
They did it in IDW 1 for a bit when they rebooted Cybertron. It suddenly developed organic features, and I was like, I don't want that. It's Cybertron. It's
I remember they did it.
Planet.
They did it a bit in Regeneration 1, didn't they, as well, right at the end? And
it's in Rise of the Beasts as well, the
Oh god, that freaking movies, they can't keep it straight. 1 minute it looks like a stack of hexagons, the next it's some quarry in South Wales or something.
Always looks different.
Quarry in South Wales.
In Rise of the Beast, Cybertron.
Well, no, sorry, it's not Cybertron, is it? It's when it's
the
right.
Maximals.
The Maximals when they
right.
Yeah.
Different planet, man. Come on.
I know. Sorry, controversial.
Beast Planet.
Beast Planet. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that makes no sense to me either. That
no, it didn't.
I was always like,
what?
Wait, what? They're on a planet and they're like all mechanical animals. Like, okay, sure.
Yeah.
Not explained, but fine,
I know, totally.
Whatever. Doesn't matter.
Like,
who cares?
It's brilliant. Yeah.
But I do think that it's an intriguing choice. My preference, like you, Liam, to be honest, is a fully cybernetic world.
Yeah.
Like if that's just because it's so unusual. I always remember the bit from the early Marvel comic where they talk about spontaneous. I can't remember the wording, but it's like just appearing, like the levers and pulleys and things like this are just like naturally occurring in the way that foliage is on Earth, for example.
Yeah, it's a great concept.
It's just so odd and bizarre and like nothing that you really get elsewhere, and I like that aspect. And I always remember, like in the old Sunbow cartoon, like Mirage remembering home, and that really weird alien feel of Cybertron really sits with me. So but it does look pretty.
It does. It's just kind of, if it's going to be organic, then it's got to have organic beings on there. It's got to have organic creatures of some kind, because if it can spawn life like trees, it's got to create everything else. It can't just be robots. And I kind of always liked the idea that Cybertron was this thing that was built up from something, And I assume here they could say, it's been built up from this rock or whatever's going off. And I mean, it's not like it's going to be bad. It's just not my personal taste. But when I watched the film, I'm like, actually, that works really well, and I enjoyed that.
This is it. It might well be explained in the film or not explained, but portrayed in a way which makes it palatable, So
it could just be the backdrop and that's it, and they don't bother going into it. And
I'm not sure they will go into it all that much.
Yeah, totally. 90 minutes.
Exactly.
They're not going to explain the whole lore. Get in there. Give us rock. They're going to give us rock lore.
There we go. That's a T-shirt right there. My goodness.
We're going to get the rock lore.
Rock lore. That's brilliant. I love that.
There you go. I'm into it. Yeah, why not?
That's great.
But I think you're right. There's only so much they can explain in this film, and why there are, sort of cybernetic deer running around and things like this. I don't know if we're going to get into that necessarily. I think it's just going to be.
They won't go that far.
This is Cybertron, and take it or leave it, guys. If you don't like it, you.
Wow.
Not literally, but take it or leave it.
Definitely not literally.
But ultimately, it's all of this. It's kind of what you said as well, that we're going to need to get to the point where we just watch the film and judge for ourselves at that point, because I think at this. We've only seen 3 minutes of footage, so they're not going to explain it all. Yeah, exactly.
How many times have we been here, though? Where
so true.
Where something comes up and people go, Guardians of the Galaxy is like the best example of this, where it came out and people lost their minds. This is going to be terrible. Then it comes out and people are like, this is the greatest thing ever. And records. And it happens every single time they release this new version of something, and people are like, I hate this. This is going to be terrible. And it's going to be 15,000 YouTube videos of the same graphic of some angry looking bloke doing this or whatever they do, and they go
YouTube face,
reasons why this movie is going to suck. Why has this franchise died? Or this is the death. This all these same things they always chuck about, and then it comes out and everyone's going to be like, "This is the new greatest thing ever." I never said any of this. It's like,
it's so true. Yeah. I did see one person say that it was woke.
Oh no!
Yeah. I had one comment on one of my things. Just someone saying that, is this like that Disney woke crap or whatever? And it was kind of like, really? I mean, like, what's woke about it, man? Like, please enlighten me. Is it because there's a woman in it? I don't know. Like, is that the bar now? There's like one female character. I don't know. But
wow. Yeah, you can't even comprehend. Best ignore. That's it, isn't it?
I'm not going to worry about it, honestly. So, but I think you're right, Liam, and particularly in Transformers. I mean, how many times have we been here just in this franchise alone with like animated, Beast Wars, all of it?
The movie, every single version of Transformers animated. Do you remember the absolute meltdown and outcry of that? And it's now probably the most beloved version of Transformers that's ever existed.
One of the best. Exactly.
I do remember it very vividly. I remember, and I've said this before, and I'll happily say it again. I remember being one of those people that saw animated the first pictures, and I didn't like it. I was like, what the F is this? You know, like it genuinely, I was one of those people that was like, this isn't my Transformers. It looks crap. And it was only when I saw it, the actual animation and the cartoon, that I was like, actually, this is really, really good. And obviously now I love it. Like it's one of my favorite bits of Transformers.
Yeah.
But if anything, that was the example that taught me, don't judge too harshly too quickly, because it's like, you know, all of this stuff needs time to kind of prove itself.
It's like the classic phrase, never judge a book by its cover. I suppose here it's like never judge a movie by a very short teaser trailer.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Promo image.
You both said it perfectly.
Promo.
It's very true.
But I think as well, it's easy to forget now that like stuff like animated especially was so controversial and so loathed on first drop, you know, when it first was teased. But I mean, I mentioned this on Twitter or whatever a couple of weeks ago, and a couple of people were like, but Transformers animated is loved. And I'm like, yeah, that's exactly my point. Is that like, you wouldn't know it now. Like if you weren't around in 2007, you wouldn't believe how controversial it was. And yet it was. But so it goes, you know?
Yeah, everyone has a first reaction to something, and you're not right or wrong. If you don't like it, you don't like it. But it's the kind of judgment of this is the worst thing ever. It's like, just wait till it comes out, because it's fine to not like something when you first see it.
Yeah,
exactly.
But it's not necessarily representative of what the actual film is like or what you're going to think of it if you do watch it.
Yeah, it's not saying you have to be wholly positive. It's just saying give it some time, give it a chance.
Just have an open mind.
Yeah,
give it a chance.
Don't hate it because it's different. Hate it if it's rubbish.
Yeah, and judge that when in September we can all go and watch it, and then we can make a judgment then.
Yeah, that's it, isn't it? Exactly that.
The Transformers will return after these messages.
Right, well, it's that time for the part of the pod where we talk about our sponsor, and that is tfsource.com, as ever. Do check them out for all your Transformers and third-party needs, but tonight it is very much an official toy that we've got in the spotlight, isn't it, gents?
Yeah, very on brand for our chat.
It is, because we have chosen to talk about none other than Transformers 1. It's a deluxe, isn't it? Deluxe class Optimus Prime.
Studio series.
Studio series, yeah.
112, Optimus Prime, Deluxe class, Transformers Studio Series, Transformers 1. Yes. There's no the Transformers in there. That's a shame, isn't it?
I'm outraged. But this is interesting because we've seen the other toy as well. The other deluxe, the mainline deluxe.
Right, that's true.
I like it. It's funny because I thought of you, Sixo, when I saw the toy. Because
it looks like me?
The resemblance is uncanny.
Yeah. Is it my window chest?
Do you remember the what was it? What they called not the MDLX ones. What's the company called? The 330?
330, yeah.
And they did the movie Optimus Prime and the movie Soundwave, and we were talking about how Soundwave is the Optimus Prime.
Yes,
isn't it?
Yeah.
Model. Well, there's something about this toy. When I look at it, I see that Soundwave, and I think it's in like the waist and stuff like that. It's got like it almost looks like Optimus parts bolted onto Soundwave's frame.
I do see what you're saying, actually. Like if you put a Soundwave head on this,
the hips and the waist,
which is not that far away actually, but like paint it blue. This could be a Soundwave. Like the whole design of it.
It's the shape of like the hips, the waist, and the sort of the thing. It's just there's something about it. Just really reminds me of that Soundwave, and just when I'm like,
I see what you're saying.
But otherwise, I think it looks great.
I'm gonna be a bit I don't like it.
Jason,
no, I don't like it.
Swinging, look at him.
I know, and
he's on your vibes.
Yeah, no, I really
He's
struggled.
not the vibes we're looking for.
I remember when it appeared, I saw it, and there's a lot of grey.
It's not even grey. Why is it not grey?
Yeah,
it looks like he's gone. He looks like he's yellowed.
It does
already.
look discoloured. Yeah, it
does
look
discoloured. He's turned into a Karamak.
I know. I don't think the head fits with the body. There's a lot of grey at his groin area. And...
Jason, we're trying to sell the toy.
No, we're supporting our sponsor.
He can say what he wants.
It's not TF Source's fault.
He's allowed to be wrong. It's okay.
Wow.
Yeah. And the Energon
company has Broman Sixo over there.
No, not at all. I actually genuinely like it. I'd happily say if I didn't.
I
think I do. Yeah, I do like it. I think it's what can I say? Yeah, I like the shape of the arms. I like the shape of the chest. I like the head sculpt. I think it looks like a very chunky, fun Optimus Prime. I've actually genuinely looked at it and been like, should I pick this up? So I haven't yet, but
I think I'm going to pick up the mainline one because the mainline is good. What I quite like about this though is if you look at the shoulders, you can see one of the wheels is red, and that's very unusual for an Optimus Prime. It's red plastic wheel on the front of his shoulder.
Underneath his shoulder,
where his bicep is.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And it's just a very unusual thing to see on Optimus Prime, which is quite cool.
I'd say they've not painted it. And that's my problem.
No, I think it's meant to blend in, isn't it? It's meant to be red to blend in, so it doesn't look like he's got a wheel on the front of his arm.
Yeah, I suppose is he a hover tank truck?
I assume so. Yeah, I don't think he's meant to have like traditional tires.
He's not been to Quick Fit.
Yeah. Someone's nicked him.
I'll bring it back to normal J-Swag's kind of brand in the fact that I like the alt mode. So, because I kind of like the space lorry type thing that's going on. It's kind of fun. But again, don't like the off grey.
I don't like the grey. No, I don't like the yellowy grey. I can't look at it and not think it looks discoloured.
Yeah.
I was sad when I saw that. That's the thing that disappointed me because we've seen this plastic before and it's this horrible looking colour, and I don't know why they keep using it. I don't know if it's particularly cheap or durable or something like that, but they keep reusing it where it's in place of actual grey, and it just looks like ugh.
Yeah. You just know if that was a nice clean grey, it would look so much better.
If it was that or like a darker grey as well, just something that was just it's just giving me PTSD because of my Power Master Optimus Prime. With the guns, it's just that exact colour. Honestly.
PTSD.
Is that prime traumatic stress disorder?
Yeah, exactly.
God,
that's it.
It's so funny because Jason's so positive, and then when he comes out with something, it's like the most dramatic thing ever. PTSD.
I talked to my partner about
because of the colour of plastic.
All the drama.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's a slightly off grey plastic.
I'm full of drama.
Yeah.
That's me.
Yeah,
so I'm one
it's
extreme
funny.
or the other. That's it. Yeah.
But it does look. It's the exact colour of a Power Master Optimus Prime that's been left out in the sun.
Yeah,
for sure. It absolutely is. So I'm not a fan of that. Yeah, I will say.
Don't know why they've got that route. I like the blue Energon X. It's different colour to what we usually see. So
it is. Yeah,
interesting
very
and
cool.
new.
It's like sparkly colour, isn't he? Yeah.
Totally. I like that. I think he looks good, man. I really like the rounded shape of it, of like the shoulders and all of that. I think that's cool, and I really like the window. The reason is because they've kind of reinterpreted his traditional truck mode into the robot mode, but in a way that sort of makes sense. You know, it's like it's not the exact transformation, but the positioning of stuff, like the thing on his chest. To me, it really works, but it's logical as well. So I'm into all of that, and I like how chunky he is.
Everything goes into the place you would expect it to go, doesn't it?
Exactly. Yeah, looks like a Optimus Prime.
Do you call him Optimus Prime?
like a Optimus Prime.
Okay, right, yeah.
Optimus Prime. I suppose I did put a bit of emphasis on the old H there.
Yeah. Why? What was that? I thought it was a joke. I'm missing something. What's the hop? Is it hopping?
No,
I was thinking popping.
Is it hopping off?
I don't know.
Is it hopping off in here?
Might be hopping off.
Yeah, exactly.
Totally hopping. Cool.
I'm hopping mad.
Good. Well, so is Jason. Look, he's got PTSD.
I know. I love the fact that
PTSD.
Prime traumatic stress
right.
disorder. Yeah.
Well, that's the sponsor segment then. That's been pretty fun, isn't it? So, do check it out. This toy is available to order right now on tfsource.com. You can check them out for all your Transformers and third-party needs.
We now return to the Transformers.
Right, well, that's going to about do it for our Transformers 1 chat. I mean, ultimately, there's only so much we can say about 3 minutes of footage, isn't there? But I'm sure we'll come back and revisit this, if there are more trailers or when the film's out as well. Why not?
Yeah.
But I think, all in all, how are we feeling? Excited for the film?
Very. Ridiculously. Yes.
Okay. Liam?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
You say that so tempered, just like, yeah. Sure.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
I'm going to go watch it.
It's all right. Yeah, it's fine.
I might wait till it comes out on Netflix or something. But
right, yeah, fair enough.
No,
actually, I can't because we'll have to talk about it, won't we?
I was going to say.
And we want a second one as well, so go and watch it at the cinema.
Yeah, you're going to have to go and watch it, mate. You got homework to do.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. Yeah.
God damn it.
Oh, no.
I'm looking forward to it. It looks good. It looks like it'd be really fun. I think my girlfriend will love it. So.
And I think, as a sort of final thought, even if you don't like it, which is fair enough, it still doesn't have to ruin your year, does it? It still doesn't have to like ruin your life. It's fine.
No.
You know, you can not like it, and that's fine. You know,
Yeah, exactly.
It's all good. It's all gravy. All gravy, baby. But
wow, where's that come from?
I don't know, man.
Gravy,
it's all
baby.
Gravy, baby.
It's all gravy, baby. It's hopping off. What can I say?
God, he's heading to Austin Powers.
Maybe I will. Yeah, baby. No, I'm not going to do that.
Don't never do that again, please.
No, I'll never do that. Never do that again. I know what happens when people try and do impressions and things on this podcast.
It gets repeated.
It's
back
not good,
at
is
you
it?
for the rest of your life.
You live to regret it. I've seen it in action.
Jason's Austin Powers would be like, yeehaw, Austin Powers, groovy,
Go on,
dude.
Jason. Give us a flavour. Go on.
No. Yeah, baby, yeah.
It's actually really good.
Wow. Yeah.
It's really good.
It's okay. Yes.
I was right there for a minute. Very shagadelic. So, if you want more of this, and why would you not, you can get on our Patreon, where we have, that is right, isn't it? Patreon, yes. And on there we have patrons.
Not Patreon.
Patreon. That still gets referred to. Patreon. Oh, Patreon. Get on there.
It's like patron.
Exactly. Yeah, because they pay. But you can pay on to be a patron on Patreon to come and listen to more of this. We've got loads of mini-sodes. We've got Well, this is something that we should talk about because Short Circuits we've just launched on the YouTube, which is a very cool thing. So this is a new ongoing fortnightly series from us, 20 minutes long. Talking about, or get a bit more, but hey, talking about cartoons. We're going to do loads of different Transformers cartoons, past and present. So we've got plans to talk about animated and Earthspark and loads of stuff. Right now, we've kicked off with the first few episodes of Generation 1, and we're going to kind of keep that going as a playlist. And we'll come back and do others in the meantime as well. But do go and check that out on the YouTube. But one real benefit of our Patreon is that not only can you get access to these episodes a week early, but you can now get access to Short Circuits a week early as well. And it does mean now, I was working this out, if you sign up at the top tier of our Patreon, got it right, you get 2 pieces of content every week because you get an early access to either an episode or Short Circuits, and then you get a mini-sode and you get a mini-series every other week. So in a fortnight, that's 4 pieces of content that you get basically on our top tier. A lot of
content.
Our Patreon, which is pretty awesome, isn't it?
It is.
Totally groovy.
Totally groovy, baby.
There we go, babe.
Yeah, baby, yeah.
No, honestly, it is. It's amazing, the amount of stuff. We kind of stumbled into this in the best possible way of just creating more content because we can't stop ourselves.
Yeah, exactly. Just more. When we think we've got a free second in the day, we're like,
fill it.
Talk about Transformers and shit, you know?
Exactly. No, it's great. It is. It's really good.
Good.
And don't forget the Discord as well.
Yeah, we've got a very hopping Discord. Which is really good. I feel like I need to say thank you to Menestreaker again as well because he's doing such a great job on the Short Circuits edits. Really,
absolutely.
Really
and very stuff. Sweet because he wanted to know when it's going to be live so that his mom can watch it as well. So
did you say mom in an American?
I did.
An American mom.
I want to say mom
or a Birmingham mom.
Yeah, or a Birmingham mom.
Yeah, exactly.
But Birmingham / America.
Respect. Yeah. That's what it was for him. You know.
Yeah, baby. Right. So talking about our Patreon. We've also got some new patrons, don't we?
We do. Yeah, we got quite a few. What have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
You sound surprised.
This week? Not at all, because we provide so much amazing content that why wouldn't you sign up? So we have got, for Sixo's Butler, we'd like to welcome Tarngaryen as our first one. Hello, Tarngaryen.
I've got to read the names as you're doing this.
Tarngaryen.
Is that right?
Are you trying to say Dogtanian?
No, it's Tarngaryen. That's it. I'm definitely getting that one right. I was very careful in how I was typing it.
Tarngaryen. I think he is right, yeah.
Yeah,
I think he is right.
And also, Tarngaryen has been prevalent all over the Discord when they arrived as well, having lots of lovely chats with them.
This is true.
There is also...
is it not Tarngaryen? Is that not it?
Tarngaryen.
Yeah, you're adding an "a." I'm not following that trick where I'm adding letters.
You're adding a syllable at him, yeah.
It's Tarngaryen.
Go-Ryan. I can see what you're saying, actually. Go-Ryan.
Oh, yeah.
Tarngaryen.
Oh, yeah. Tarngaryen. Could do that way as well.
Tarngaryen.
That's where I'm going. I'm splitting out the Ryan.
Mr. T. We'll just call him Mr. T.
Mr. T. We also have, as a Sixo Butler, Soft Fleshy Biped. What a name, eh? Steppo Shows. Hello, Steppo Shows.
Oh, you went right past soft fleshy biped then.
Well, what else can I say? Soft fleshy biped just does it for themselves, doesn't it? Really amazing. Casey Hirschberger. Hello, Casey. Goji Prime. Love that name. Amazing. And Radimus. Very warm welcome to all 6 of you. And then we also have, as the Gold Box Classic level, we can welcome Volk as well. So hi, Volk.
Who's also been on the Discord.
Yes, very much so. And having lots of lovely chat as well. So yeah, lovely. Thanks for the sign up, guys. It's very much appreciated. And for you two as well, well, for all of us, we have one of the benefits is questions from our Discord and patrons, and we have 2 of those. The first one we have tonight is from Dougatron, good old Doug.
Big Doug.
Yes, his birthday today.
The Dogster.
It is his birthday today.
Yeah,
yes.
Happy birthday, Doug. Hope you had a lovely
birthday.
Day. So his question is another question for the pod. Best of favourite character death. I may or may not have been playing with Scorponok this morning. So
we don't need to know what he's playing with.
I know, exactly. I think we know where that is. Too traumatic, isn't it? Liam, let's go you. What do you reckon?
Best character death would be, I think, it's a bit of a cheat, but I'd say Starscream in Transformers Animated, where that episode where he keeps getting killed and coming back to life.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good one, actually. I like that. Yeah.
Is
Not
that
what I would have
animated?
thought of. That is, it is.
Yeah, it's this one. Yeah. That's a
Good
goodie.
episode where he just repeatedly keeps getting killed and coming back to life. And it's just
brilliant.
really funny.
Love it.
And then you get that clip montage of him just the very rapid cuts of different ways.
That's genius. That's very good.
Interesting.
That's cool.
Not like any of the traditional like big deaths then. Not any of those.
No, they've all been done. I was quite fond of this. It just made me laugh. I just thought it was really funny. I know he's not technically dead, but there's a lot of them. That's really well done.
It's like a Groundhog Day moment. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's brilliant. Sixo, what about you?
Well, it's funny because Scorponok is one that's up there for me as well from the old Marvel comic. It's pretty great.
Wow.
Pretty memorable, haunting moment. I think I would go... It's an obvious one. I'm going to go Dinobot from Beast Wars. Just because it's just peak Transformers fiction, in my opinion. That episode especially. So well done. And really earned as well. Like earned, really builds to something through the series.
Not in an urn.
In an urn, yeah. They do cremate him at the end. And it's just lovely though, honestly. It's just, there's so much about it that's really nice, but it's all the stuff that leads up to it as well, because he goes into it knowing that he doesn't have a choice. It's the whole, like, how ironic, because I've now got no choice at all. It's just wonderful. Absolutely top tier. Love it.
Storytelling. Yeah, it's good. Yeah. That's nice.
Makes me want to do another Beast Wars episode.
Yeah, I think there's a bit. I think we're over time for that one, aren't we?
We are. We need to come back. Yeah,
we do. We do.
More Beast banter.
Bring back the panpipes.
Yeah.
You say panpipes?
Yeah, panpipes. Yeah,
panpipes.
Oh, Jason, you knew. You're so new.
No, sorry.
You'll discover the panpipes.
No.
Don't get the in jokes, man.
I'm gonna go back to G1 Marvel UK, and it's when Death's Head shot Bumblebee and blows him into pieces in Wanted Galvatron Dead or Alive. And I choose that one because it traumatized me as a child.
Really?
Yeah, I remember being so upset. He properly gets pulverized, like he's just in bits everywhere.
Is it the way that he is? It's the black bits coming out of his eyes.
Oh, it's horrible.
He explodes.
Yeah. It just explodes, but then he comes back as Goldbug, doesn't he? After that, I consider that as a epic character death as well. So thanks, Dougatron. That was ace. Next question from Aggressive Bread. Be careful eating aggressive bread.
Angry toast. Yeah.
Angry toast, exactly. Just got one question for the time being, but that being, what your guys' favourite individual movie show moment is from any of the different Transformers series.
Beast Wars, Code of Hero. Same answer for both of them. No, I can have the same for both, can I?
You could do, actually. That is you could do.
Just genuinely, that probably would be my answer. It's just the unfortunate juxtaposition of these two.
Yeah, I don't ended up being the same answer.
It's up there. I'll pick something else just because that's certainly up there as one. I like of my
that.
favorites.
No, I think that's good.
Is it? Is that okay?
Yeah, totally. Right. Why not? Yeah. Okay. Liam, what about you? Favorite individual movie, show, moment?
Well, my favorite moment from any show or movie.
It's pretty wide. From any of the different Transformers series.
Oh, there are so many. But it's going to be something really obvious, and I think it's just the kind of the opening to Transformers the movie. You know, when they're
Yeah.
Well, mine's really obvious as well. It's the same vein.
It's all the jazz to Moonbase 2 and all that sort of stuff. That whole section as the music's going on. It's like one of my favorite Transformers. It's just the one Transformers I can watch over and over again. It's the start of that film.
Yeah.
I must admit, I mean, I know I said Code of Hero, but I could equally pick 10, 15 moments from Transformers the movie, and it would be right up there. Unicron transforming, for example, is just...
Yeah.
Optimus Prime running thrust over.
Yeah.
That's a classic.
Yeah, totally. Mine is also from Transformers the movie, and it's when Hot Rod catches Daniel and transforms. That moment, it's just like it defines the movie for me, and just a great bit of animation. Love it. Yeah. So, but there's so many as well, so many different bits. I did actually, for what I said earlier during the episode about not being a fan of Bayformers, but I even did think about the Michael Bay films, and the first time that I saw those kind of
some great moments.
Yeah, like Blackout transforming and that attack on the base, and you're just like, what
a moment
unbelievable. And you're just like, that is still an iconic moment and really impressive cinema.
Yeah, no doubt. Even in the later films, when it is just, you know, what's going on, there are great moments in them, you know?
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, it's quite. I think that question is a goodie, but it's kind of. I feel like we could easily go through each of the series, couldn't we, and just pick loads out from
very true
as well.
Maybe one for a mini-sode at some point.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
favorite moments, you know.
Yeah. So thanks for that, Aggressive Bread, much appreciated. And sign up on our Patreon. You can ask us even more questions.
Indeed. So go and check it all out at patreon.com/Triple Takeover. Get on there, and as I said, if you enjoy the pod, really helps us out to support us in that way. And do check out Short Circuits as well, because it's all gravy, baby.
Oh, God.
I'm saying it again, just because you keep rolling your eyes. I know.
Every time you just hear this, oh, God.
Oh, God. Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Is this me now?
I think it's you now, yeah. Oh, okay. Let's say it's you.
Well, we haven't had that many messages, but we did have one from a person. Didn't say where she was from.
Oh.
That's a shame. Normally people like to give a geographic location. This one just gave her first and second names. This was from a Phyllis Stein.
Wow, branching out with the format of these puns, are we?
Yeah. Very much like an old lady's name, Phyllis Stein. But yeah, but she just said, was looking at Redbubble, thinking of getting a mug for a warm cup of coffee in the morning, and I came across your Transformers 1986 Optimus Prime versus Megatron coffee mug, designed and sold by Triple Takeover. Oh, that's the listening. But that's what she saw. And she thought it was very good, Sixo, so she just wanted to let you know. And, just letting people know that they can also buy these lovely mugs that you have made over at rebel.com/people/Triple Takeover/explore.
Thanks, Phyllis.
Yeah, thanks, Phyllis
Stein. Yeah.
God.
Amazing.
Stein. What are you doing, Liam?
It's amazing how they get your address and send you these,
Well, I got a book, didn't I?
That's
from
true.
Rob from Rochester, which was fantastic. A fantastic thing. Thank you, Nick.
Yeah, that's good.
He got in touch with me, and he was like, "Did you tell Liam who it was?" I was like, "Nope, he worked it out."
Oh, did he?
That was impressive that you were there as well.
Well, I just deduced it by thinking, you know what, I'm going to go on Twitter and find the person who did the book and find if we have anyone in common who follows us. But before I could do that, Nick's post popped up saying, I've just backed this book.
Right. Giveaway.
And he was one of the first people I thought of as well. But thank you, Nick. But yes, so head over if you want to buy some Redbubble stuff. Or if you have strong opinions on Transformers 1 and you want to tell us about them like everybody else does, then hit us up on social media. We're on all of the places under Triple Takeover.
Tell us if you think it's too woke.
No, don't. Just,
please don't.
Keep that to yourself.
Use your inside voice for that. But
your inside voice.
Sixo, is there any place on social media where people can't find you? Are you just everywhere? Are you omnipresent?
Twitch.
Yeah, just shout my name into the heavens and I shall appear.
Is that because that's Alexa will just find you straight away?
Yeah, exactly. Go and check out my YouTube. If you're not on my YouTube, give us a sub. I'd love more subs.
Watch this video on Megatron that you just done.
Man.
That's great.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, it's very good.
Good fun thing. It's sat right next to my foot now. Yeah.
Was that the global reveal of it? Your video?
No, man. No. Well, at the same time as the Hasbro stream, and however many other reviewers have got it as well. But it was a fun thing to have it in hand. It was hard not to talk about with people because it's such an exciting thing that, of course, you just, and your natural thing when you get a new Transformer of any kind, isn't it, is to talk about it and be like, look at this. Do you know what I mean? So it was hard to just kind of
flex, you mean?
Yeah, well, yeah, I guess that's what we all do, isn't it? But it was hard to sit on something this exciting and to just like talk about it with my son. Do you know what I mean? And just have that be the. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, I love that he got a cameo in the video. That was
he really likes it.
It's amazing.
He really loves all these RoboSen things. Honestly, he's really into the whole thing. And like, if I get a new toy now that I show him, the first thing is, does it transform itself? And I'm like, no. And he's like, oh.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he actually really likes it. It's quite funny.
That's cute.
Jason, where can people find you?
Well, actually, I'm going to be very specific. So why don't you head to Instagram and go to JSwags, and you'll find me there and posting some more photos. Now, I'm doing some quite unusual stuff at the moment. I'm going through my Stars membership card. The images of boxes are proving very popular that I'm posting as well.
Yeah.
So yeah. So if you like your kind of G1 history and artwork and all that kind of stuff, then and more besides, a lot of Titans Return on there as well. Yeah, head over to jswags at instagram.com.
Cool. And I'm at Toybox Soapbox. Anywhere there is an at.
Nice.
Me too, but 6OTF.
You're at Toybox Soapbox, are you?
Yeah. To be fair, anywhere you're at, I'm normally at as well.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Well, that's where we're all at. Exactly.
Yeah. We're all just at.
Go together.
Yeah, just
at,
exactly.
At. Yeah.
At.
That's what I should have chosen. I should have done at. I bet George Lucas
like a
has
Star
got
Wars.
That. Yeah.
Like Walker.
Yeah, exactly.
Sounds groovy, baby. Right, so gonna get one last one in. Just, leave you on that. So yeah, Transformers 1. Pretty exciting. Go check it out. Check out the trailer. Tell us what you think, I suppose, if you really want to. But I'm dead excited about it. I know you guys are. I think Liam is secretly as well.
I'm looking forward to it. It's cool. I'm interested. I think it looks fun.
And there are worse things to be. So, yeah. But otherwise, that's going to do it for tonight. So thank you very much for listening, and we'll catch you next time.
Ooh, they're all going, ooh.